Foam. So I have been looking for foam to redo my go-kart seats, in particularly the Yerf Dog 3020. I recently posted a video of the seat done in the original way it was made. I just took patterns of the original one that was disintegrating, created the covers and the sleeves, sleeve for the back and a cover for the bottom for the base. That's wrapped up underneath a wooden plate and then staple, and then the flap sides to that. So I show that, but I was actually looking for to redo that, and in doing so, I started looking for foam options. What kind of foam can I buy that will give me the most material for the least amount of price? And so I stumbled on this 5-inch foam from Amazon. If you look for foam, this is high density foam that's made for cushions. So I stumbled on this one, fairly inexpensive for the amount of foam that you get here. The only thing is that it's a 5-inch width, which will work fine. Actually, this will work really well because sitting here, it provides a nice cushion. And even though I was thinking of slicing this to a 3-inch height, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to leave it 5 inches and create my pads from here for the seat. For the back, it doesn't require that much cushion. So for the back, I may opt to just bite the bullet and buy the 3-inch or the 2-inch version of this foam. This is it's got a charcoal gray color, very nice, from the same company. If I buy the 2-inch, it'll be cheaper, of course, by nature being thinner, but it's not going to be as cheap as I bought this one right here. This 5-inch one was almost for the price that you buy the 2-inch. I bought this 5-inch one for the same length. This is 72. I think this is 72 inches, 6 feet by. I believe this is 24 inches in width. Yeah, that's 24 inches in width by 5 inches in depth by 6 feet long. So you're seeing here, I just this came rolled up. Believe it or not, this came rolled up nice and tight in these white mesh bags and shoved into this carton here, which is this is probably about 8 by 8 by 8. So they were able to. The company makes this was able to roll this really tight and shove it in there. And so just wanted to capture this video and just show this foam. Once again, this is a diary of all the stuff that I've been doing for the go-kart, and to serve as also reference for anybody that's viewing this that wants to do the same. I'm telling you where I'm getting this. I'm not putting any particular links to where I'm getting all this stuff. I am assuming that whoever's viewing this and wants to do the same is going to, invest a little time in doing that. I'm not, I invested quite a bit of time in searching for these things. And if you really want to do the same thing, I think it's better that a viewer that wants to get involved in the same type of work does a little investigation, and you see what is fit for your particular application, because not everybody approaches things the same way. But this is a good reference. It's just a reference. Let me show you what the seat that's going to use this material looks like. Okay, so I just came here to my work area, which is pretty messy here because I've been cutting things, I've been making patterns, and I've just been working between this and the go-kart and some other mechanical parts that I've been working, cleaning and painting and trying to get this kart back in shape. Yeah, I just haven't had time to organize and do some proper cleanup here, but you can see, the stuff that I've been working on. These are some samples of this new material that I made this from, to see how it would look in instead of making this with this edging here, this and I showed this in another video. This is called I have to reference my card here. This is called Welt 180 Welt, and it comes from this company, Graham Fabrics. They sell for fabrics and materials for automotive purposes. You know, if you want to do seats and for your go-kart, for industrial equipment, for marine applications, they sell all kinds of fabrics. The other place that sells fabrics is another company called Sailrite. They sell a lot of materials for the for boats, for marine applications. So that's another company that I like. And anytime I need something for those applications, I go to. This company is brand new. I found this company, again, searching on the internet for supplying material. This is also called piping, upholstery piping. This Joann's Fabrics has something similar to this, but it's made for fabric. You know, for it's a fabric type piping. You know, to create a nice detail edging on the seats, on upholstery, on chairs, and things of that nature. You know, like this one was done. This was done with that piping right here on the sides of the seat. I didn't use piping here because I didn't have this material. I wasn't sure where I could get, but you know, after searching quite a bit, I found this material, the exact same thing that was used on this original Yerf go-kart seat. And so I decided to do another one. It's a kind of a test, you know, to see how this would look. And as you can see, this is actually two pieces here. This is a piece, rectangular or square piece at the top, and there's a long piece that wraps around the edge of this perimeter of this seat, what would be the top portion of the seat. And so this is sewn in reverse. As you can see, I've been playing around with some of this foam here. This is not what I really wanted to use. It, you know, I just put it there to fill this area here and see what it would look like. And this also is a hard foam that I bought. This is from those exercise mats. You know, I cut. This came from those mats. I just removed the cover. I found, you know, that it. I think it was Goodwill. I got it really cheap. So because I thought I could use some of this, and you can still use this, but it's hard. You can use a bit of this as a more of a reinforcement to the foam that I just showed, the black foam that I just recently got. But being that foam is 5 inches, and this is, I believe this is also 5 inches in height. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is also 5 inches in height, with losing about a ½ inch, you know, for the stitching here. And you can see how this I sewed this with the, you know, this has got to be sewn in reverse. I actually did this in two passes. If I had a proper machine to do this stuff right here, I believe those machines are more like machines that are used for sewing, making shoes. I would have done this in one pass, but I actually did this in two passes. I actually took the piping and I sewed it first to this to the edge here. You know, just flat. This edge, if you unravel this edge right here and you lay it flat, it's going to be a long strip that has the perimeter of this, that, you know, this area here. And so I did that first, and then I came back and then I sewed it, you know, on the negative side. You know, I did another stitch, and that's what you're seeing there, you know, the double stitch there. And it came out, you know, pretty decent using using a foot on my sewing machine that's not designed for this stuff, but you know, I made it work, you know, so that it came out. You know, it's not perfect. You know, if I hadn't shown you this, you would not know, and you would probably think it's pretty. It's near perfect, but it's you know, it's got some areas where it shows the threading. I don't mind that. This was, like I said, it's a test. It's a test setup here, and this will serve as a seat. You know, once I put the foam here, the 5-inch foam, and a piece of plywood underneath, and just wrap it and staple it like it's typically done. So So this is the purpose of that foam, and then to redo these, I am going to be redoing these in a little more squarish. But to do this, I think a 1 inch, 1.5 inch foam would suffice here for the pads. Will make it a lot more cushiony than this half-inch foam that was used on the original one. This right here is about also I believe an inch, maybe 2 inches at the most for the to create the padding, and that's why I'm considering getting the 2 inch foam, the same black stuff, to do this with the piping, either with the piping or with this type of stitching here that can be done. Once you stitch this fabric like this, you fold it over, and then you fold this this flap or this edge flat. You come back and you sew it, to create this from the top or from the bottom. You can create this type of stitching on top, and that's how some also furniture is done, upholstery, for things of this nature. So I think this is a lot easier to do because this piping right here is hard. It's a hard. I believe this is an extrusion, some kind of a PVC extrusion, and when you're sewing this, for the needle to go through this material twice, and and that edge that this piping comes with, it's quite quite thick, and unless you have a good machine that can sew thick fabrics, it's going to be very difficult to do that. I just wanted to point that out, but it would be a lot easier to do this type of stitching here. So I really like this. It's nice and clean. It doesn't have this detail, this raised piping edge, but you can see that with the stitching like that, with this white thread that I'm using, it's pretty spiffy. It's pretty classy looking. So I think I'm gonna go with this setup here once I redo the seat for this Yerf dog. And like I was saying before, I still have two of these bucket seats that are pretty much done. I cleaned them up, I painted them, they came out very, very nice. And but I also want to do some cushions for this, so I may opt to just do a rectangular, not a rectangular, but a cushion that can fit on the bucket, just on the seat. All you need is just something flat that you can sit that carries out, through the back into that shape here. So I may do something, a continuous piece like that I can just either Velcro it or put some snap type of retainers there, so I can put the seat on over these molded seats, and I think that'll do it. So yeah, this is where I'm at. And like I said, I'm doing these videos for reference, but also for as a diary of all these things that I'm doing. Stay tuned for more. This is Mario once again. Thanks for watching.